Hello everybody, and welcome to Katawa Shoujo. I'm Mindlezz Gamer, and I'll tell you six stories of a guy meeting six girls with disabilities, sad, love, and a lot of romance. And boobs. Yeah, Katawa Shoujo, guys. A very, very emotional visual novel. I'd like to thank my coworker for getting me into this. I played it on my laptop, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do a story of this. Let's do some of this. I'm in the mood for it. So I'm gonna narrate the story. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling, breathing into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I to expect to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note. I didn't realize I was reading. ISO is who I am. I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. Excuse me. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the book in the locker. Yeah, but then again, some lockers don't have like that. They can slide it in. But at least this way shows a bit of initiative. I can't speak or read her sometimes. As I ponder the meaning of the notes, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. The slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of the dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hi, so you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than eyes dropping to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. I love the artwork in this. It's so amazing. I can't pronounce that. Haniko? I got a note telling me to wait here. Was it yours? Despite I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyless smile that makes me so tense I could move a single muscle even if I tried. Couldn't. My heart is pounding out, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest to claim this girl for itself. So, here we are. Out in the cold. Yeah, very cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The catastrophic noise is music to my ears. Ainiko flinches ever so softly against the gust of the wind, as she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes locked with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, black, dark hair around her figure. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you would go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hi, so? I reach up to try to message besides my throat. This was only seeing spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hi, so? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shot open in terror. Please help! The beating in my chest suddenly stops. I grow weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, and it runs towards me. All that fades into black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Aiko screaming for help, the incensed clatter of the branches above. The emotion. My heart actually does feel like his right now, because like it's so emotional that I feel it too. Like I'm really like romance emotional. Like I love it. I read a lot of romance fan fictions, so it really gets to me. I just love how this looks. Just look at this detail. It's amazing. I'm glad that my buddy that told me about this actually saying they're coming out the second one, and I am glad. I want to see a second one of this. But of course, it might take a while, so give or take. How's my audio looking? Audio's looking good. Love, this is such, like, it looks so anime. Like, that clock, like, you can just imagine it being in, like, some kind of anime. Of, like, it's just some kind of, just clock ticking in, like, some sequence of some scene. I just want to cry sometimes. If you guys see me crying, don't be surprised. I will cry if I need to. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Now here's a long sequence to be warned. So this is a very long sequence. In what time? In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is barely a long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Airthrima, a strange word, a foreign alien one that don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition, it causes the heart to act irrationally and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, it had to be for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, appreciative of my life. It really didn't get anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I don't know what that is. I don't know medical terms, hardly. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything to them. It was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't one. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recreate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But for the visitors soon dwindled, and all get-well gifts began trickling down. Nothing shortly after. I realized that only reason I've gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even at the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Aiko was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't even touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry. Sorry. And they have a million other patients waiting for them. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate for when I'll be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I'd idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change in appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of poem. I'd asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answers shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading. I think I've been a bit attached. I started feeling naked without a book in my hand. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days become strangely harder to distinguish from each other, defined only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass. I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance I had to set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp, burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened unrarely. I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctors came in, gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting through his papers, then settling them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. I hate when people do that. Like, they're like, dear, so say this book, okay? Say this is the cardboard, okay? And they're just going like this, just flipping through notes, and then just set it aside like they weren't even doing anything. That pisses me off. It's like, it's either you're gonna make up your mind of what you're gonna say and straightforward it, instead of just thinking about it. You had the entire walk or something to think about it. No, you're just gonna think, okay, what am I gonna say to this child? Seriously. Then casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Is he by himself in this room? Oh man, that's gonna be so. I just realized that now. I would hate that. Hello, Iso. How are you doing today? I didn't answer him, but I smiled a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We all have your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I can't. This is probably gonna be the same damn voice for those two. I take it from his hand and took a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? There's a really long list of medications staring back at me from the paper. It seems indemonstrable. They are blended together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, catastrophes, and doses are listed line after line with cold prescription. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. I'm tempting to only make me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list faded over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I've had felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Iso. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Wait, was that his dad? Yeah. They had the same white text, so it threw me off. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Ikamu Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It is a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise this fact. I do not defend or make fun of disabled people. Heads up. Don't judge me on that. I treat them as if they are normal people, to the best of my abilities, without trying to offend them. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Yeah, Drew. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to go homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you would like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be expected at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I wanted to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help, in one way or another. Your father's right, and many other graduates of the school have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disabilities. One of my colleagues is in this hospital as a graduate. I don't care, a person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. Well, it's how you see it. It's funny. I've had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction of shock or fitu. I can't say it. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I could go back to school anyway, but no. I could say anything. The fact is that I know that it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all of this. The hospital, the doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that could make me feel any different. There's really isn't a choice. I know this, but that thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. This is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. I'm already 20 minutes into this? Jesus Christ. God, I told you this introduction's long, before we even get to do anything. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life would be like. And I'm gonna start now, and when I get to the school, I'm gonna save it. I like this picture. I love it. But I'm gonna break it up into sections. It's gonna be a long series. I'm gonna have my first series right here, guys. First series. And my first choice I'm going to save. So this is going to be at the start of the series. Episode, the beginning of a new life. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seemed to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gravy plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. It looks good. I wonder if it would look like what a gate from a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I don't want to go stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entertained through it with a brisk pace. Felt surprisingly good. Okay, I don't remember the choices of. I know few that do and few that don't. So I'm gonna try and not think about which one goes to where. But my brain's probably like, no, you're gonna go for Hanako, which I do. But I'm not going with Hanako yet. I'm gonna random it. That's what I'm gonna do. Moving forward feels good. So I walk towards the main building of Hanako Academy with this brisk place. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds of a school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway going to past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all the other park things. Words like clean, hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off, stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as if it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big, too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different for what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this isn't my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by the expectations of a school from the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to do something intangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind of the green hue flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. Kinda is. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all the greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I'm surprised by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with the realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture noticed me as I entered. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. No. Sure, I can't remember your name. You must be Niki? Naki. I'm gonna say Naki. If I'm wrong, don't correct me. So you are excellent. I am your homeroom and science teacher, Miss. My name is Mutu. Don't correct me. Welcome. We exchange a handshake. This is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there is no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me. I don't think like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost missed what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Okay, so if I introduce myself to the class, it makes me look. I'm not nervous. But if I say no, it makes me look shy. And of course, this is Japan, and if I'm correct, they have the teacher and just say, "This is our new student. Please give a welcome," and then say their name, bow, or whatever, yada yada yada. That's what I believe. So I'm gonna say, "Do you want to introduce yourself to class?" Yes, of course. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course. Not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I don't, but it just I feel that it's normal and traditional to do that. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be with the one to give the first impression of myself. Yeah, because you don't want people to be like, whisper, whisper, that's that weird guy, whisper, whisper, whisper. You want to be straightforward to me. Right. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. I gotta give him a voice. Blah, blah. My heart is pounding my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked to the classroom 3-3. Mutu opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a second at the door, freezing at the spot. Ah, get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point in worrying so much about it. At least, not this soon. Okay. She's my favorite. She's my woofa. I remember her. You talked to her another time. Can't think, but... Sorry, get distracted by my favorite right there. I followed the teacher into the classroom and look around, particularly so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. I'm pretty suspicious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's a lot of space left over around between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards, and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with with a shelf underneath, 4 books and wooden chairs, 4 metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of this classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, just students in any other school, but then, why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not intimate obvious. Then I noticed that one of the girls seemed to be missing the thumb of her right hand. Oh, it's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher. This fat ass. I'm not being mean, I'm just saying, really? Really? I already see the two I already hate, I swear. I wanna go psh sometimes. But the natural tendency to listen when someone is talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and seem that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. Yes. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There is only one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language peers over at me with splinters of her glasses, then goes back towards whatever she was doing. She's kind of cute. So is she the cheery looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her? She really is hard to miss. Tell me about it. I don't know how I didn't notice her at the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hand, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only have one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by throwing. Wait, where was I? I was thinking something. One hand, I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks at this applause I did not deserve. Like I said, they bow. A collective science tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Haiso Neko. Not key. Not tea. Not key? It's not tea or not key? I think it's not key. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along with everyone even though I'm a new student. After that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly every self-introducer ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with a little what I said, though. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It couldn't have gone worse. Yeah, it could have fallen over in your face and something. Could have fallen down straight in the face and had a heart attack. So, it could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along with letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. That was the girl I was saying that you'll talk to later. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hamichi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be able to do that better, right? True. How could I know? The teacher passes out the day assignments and announces that we will be working in groups by 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hamichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hamichi is right there. Shinsu Hamiki. As she calls out her name, the cute, bubbly looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hi, I guess you're Namichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? Whoa. I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you, too, but I'm not Hamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hamiki Shinchi. Thank God I don't have to speak for her, thank God. Getting it, Misha I gotta figure out voices for these. I'm gonna do voices the best I can, at least. Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me for the whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet careful, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between insolent and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. ... She says sign language, she has to go to Mishu. She really looks at me, Misha. Why did I say Mishu? I mean Misha. Who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hamiki nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you. Oh my God. I could see you're a little confused, right? Right? But I understand why you would think I'm Shinchi. Shinchi is deaf, so I am the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says that it's nice to meet you, too. You're a new student, aren't you? Well, Shinchi, of course, he isn't. If he wasn't, he would have been able to, he would be standing up there for no reason, right? Right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? You knew there was going to be a new student, but he didn't know you would be here today so soon. Haichi, right? Haichin? I don't know. If I mess it up several times, don't correct me. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. You look just like Hei-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Hamishi's attention. That gesture back and forth to each other, suddenly with their hands a blur. That's what it's doing. That's what they're doing. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shinchi wants to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need... I'm gonna die doing that. You can feel free to ask her. AKA, you're gonna have to ask Misha, who has to translate to her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize with yourself with it. Misha stumbles with a hard... Wait, why am I... Misha stumbles with a hard word a bit, making it stuck out, otherwise fluid translation. Thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight into class today. That's not good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just that with school either. Always, even if it's a trip to convenience stores. Really, Shincha. Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. Yeah, while I was in middle school, I actually got mixed up with the class because the teacher had 2 rooms. Like, she was in there in the morning, and then she had an afternoon. I had the afternoon one, so I got completely messed up on the first day of school. Oh my god, I was embarrassed. At least I wasn't the only one, because there was another kid that did that too. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it half acidly. But anyway, I don't. God damn it! Why am I so fucking tired? Fuck. I didn't say anything. Amisha signed something that ends in a slur. What is that? It seems like it's... What is it to me? I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling. That shrug hit me exponentially deeply. I was just doing what he was doing. My camera can't... Unless I was to adjust it. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking at like you just failed a test. Waha! Alright. And another thing, you don't have to call Shinshu something so formal like Hamichi or class rep at all time. Just call her Shinchan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shinzun. Maybe more appropriate? Yep, Shizu is fine. Okay. That would be a lot easier for me, trust me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shinzu, who I assume would be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Huh? Oh, right. We haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shinji will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we would start now if we want to finish it before class ends. That too. Shinji glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and essentially long. Still, we finished in a few minutes early than anyone else in the class, despite our late start. Shinju and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm as professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish. Not surprising. Not to mention a little bit more easy distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. Don't worry, dude. I would let other people do my work if they knew what they were doing at a new school, to be honest. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. So, wait, it's only been an hour and I got there before lunch? A great day. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway down the stairs. So I think I'm going to end it right here, because it's almost been 40 minutes. So I'm going to cut it here, and we will begin it next time and continue to see the rest of the characters, because this has been way too long. It's going to take me a while to get there. So I think I'm going to end it right here, and I'd like to thank you guys for joining me in my first episode, and hope you liked my narrating and my fucking bad voice acting for those Dad and Doctor and Misha. So I'm just gonna do my normal voice because I'm the main character, so I'm just gonna do it my main voice. But thank you guys for joining me in episode 1 of katawa shoujo, name blank, and hope to see you guys in the next episode. See ya.